At the end of January 1848, a man named James Marshall found this piece of shiny metal. He didn't know what it was, so he had it privately tested. When the test showed that it was gold, he wanted to keep the information to himself. He had hopes of having an agriculture empire, and he thought his plans would be ruined if people found out about the gold. Despite him wanting to keep it a secret, rumors were spread and soon confirmed by a San Francisco newspaper. At the time gold was discovered, California was still part of Mexican territory, but on February 2nd, 1848, California was given to the United States. Around mid-August 1848, the New York Herald was the first major newspaper on the East Coast to report the discovery of gold. By early December 1848, President James Polk confirmed the discovery of gold in an address to Congress. Word of the gold rush spread slowly at first. The earliest gold seekers were people who lived near California or people who had heard the news from ships on the fastest sailing routes out of California. The first large group of Americans to arrive were people that lived from Oregon, and they came down the Siskiyou Trail. Next came people from the Sandwich Island and several thousand Latin Americans, including people from Mexico, Peru, and as far away as Chile, both by ship and overland. By the end of 1848, some 6,000 people had come to California. By the beginning of 1849, word of the gold rush had spread around the world, and an overwhelming number of gold seekers and merchants began to arrive from virtually every continent. The largest group of 49ers were Americans, arriving in the tens of thousands overland across the continent and along various sailing routes. It's estimated that approximately 90,000 people total arrived in California in 1849. The people that were suddenly in California with hopes of getting quick money were soon brought back to reality. They encountered Native Americans. The newcomers had brought their diseases with them, killing up to 90% of Native Americans in some parts. The people who were there mining for gold also treated the natives horribly. Miners often saw Native Americans as impediments to their mining activities. Attacks on solitary miners could result in larger-scale attacks against Native populations. According to the government of California, some 4,500 Native Americans suffered violent deaths between 1849 and 1870. While things weren't always easy with the gold rush, it did help with the economy in some ways. The gold rush stimulated economies around the world as well. Farmers in China, Australia, and Hawaii found a huge new market for their food. British manufactured goods were higher in demand. Clothing and even prefabricated houses arrived from China. Overall, the California gold rush had a major impact on history and changed a lot for how things are today. At the end of word of the gold rush spread slowly at first. The people that were suddenly in California with hopes of getting quick money were soon brought back to reality.